Hello everyone, hope you're having a good day today. Mine's going fine. Today we're going to be looking at one of the most disastrous reviews on the entirety of the internet on Doom the Dark Ages. And reviews is kind of, a stretch. The review we're looking at today is made by Outside Xbox. And it's titled, A Shooter for People Who Are Bad at Shooters, a Doom the Dark Ages review. I had other stuff to say in the intro, but I had to re-record this, and I lost the footage, so this is what you get. By the way, that's why some of the mic quality's awful. It's because it was broken for a little bit. Lastly, before we start the review, thank you guys so much for the recent support on my other video. It really did mean a lot to me. And with that being said, let's get into the real review. Okay, so he starts off by saying,
this is a game designed not just to flatter your first-person shooter skills via various means that make the game easier to play, but also, it's not really a test of those first-person shooter skills at all.
I'm not sure you are playing the right game, because Doom the Dark Ages is not an easy game. If you are looking for a challenge, maybe try not playing on the easiest game mode. On top of that, maybe don't use the cheat slider in the menu.
Like I said, hear me out.
What is it that you can possibly say for me to be able to hear you out and agree with you? And by the way, immediately after that, he follows up with this gameplay clip. I don't know if I missed something, but it appears that your health bar was at a critically low level. What was that about? I thought it was easy. I mean, surely someone that's making such bold claims about a game's difficulty would know how to correctly play said game, right? Or I don't even know, maybe he was playing it with one finger because it's so easy, and that's the only reason he lost any health. Oh yeah, and then there's another clip of him doing this, because he loves using one finger to beat video games, apparently. And also, while we're watching this clip, it does also include one of his other criticisms that we're going to go over, so that's just going to be included, I guess.
Since Doom's reboot in 2016, id Software has been playing around with this figure behind the scenes. Not all damage you sustain is created equal. As you get closer to death, the game makes enemy attacks less damaging.
And no other video game does that?
But this is super obvious when you're playing Doom the Dark Ages. You'll find yourself at low or critical health frequently, but more often than not, you'll scrape by even after taking a few hits, perform the kills required, and get an instant health boost from a downed enemy without so much as ever even having to look for cover.
You do realize this is a Doom game. This isn't like a stealth operation game. No, this is a Doom game. Rip and tear, stand and fight. Those are the mottos. It is not hide and wait for your ammo to replenish, or hide and wait for your health to regenerate. What I'm trying to say is this game is a boomer shooter. It is not meant to have breaks in between action. It is meant to be go, go, go.
There will be several occasions during a Doom the Dark Ages playthrough where you survive a tricky encounter with maybe like 5 health, and you'll feel like an absolute hero, even though behind the scenes, the game was helping you out.
Or maybe the game is helping you out because you decided to play on I'm Too Young to Die difficulty.
You can be wading through an entire army of enemies, but enemies that are behind you and outside of your field of view attack far less frequently than the ones you can see.
Are you saying you want them to attack you and just sneak attack you? Also, if they're further away, it's going to take longer for them to attack you because, guess what? The further you are, the longer it takes for something to reach someone. And like I've mentioned way too many times, if you're on the easiest difficulties with the easiest difficulty modifiers, guess what? The enemies aren't going to be that hard. Listen, I'm not even that good at Doom 2016. Yet, I'd still play on some of the medium or more difficult modifiers. Playing on the easiest difficulty should only be reserved for the first time you play any Doom game ever. Oh, and by the way, Outside Xbox, in their description of their channel, it mentions that they make daily videos. So what I'm gonna go ahead and assume, which I cannot say I'm directly right with, you probably are playing on the very easiest difficulty so you can get through the entirety of the game to make a review, and because you had so little time to play the game, you play on the easiest difficulty. And when you play on the easiest difficulty, it's not gonna be that difficult. Bit of a side tangent there, but this next part of the clip angers me so greatly. Unironically. Just look.
Oh, and that's not to say you can't make the game more difficult overall. There are a ton of settings that allow you to increase the challenge. Just look at this clip of me trying to play on the hardest difficulty.
So basically what you're saying is, it is a difficult game. But it's not a difficult game when you decide to just play on the easiest difficulty. You weren't able to beat the harder mode, and you obviously found it difficult. It is a difficult game for you on the harder difficulties. And then he makes an actually reasonable statement here.
Yeah, this video's not a brag where I say I found Doom the Dark Ages too easy.
But immediately backfires with,
what I'm saying is that being successful in combat has nothing to do with being good at first-person shooters. First-person shooters are at their core about aiming and then shooting.
FPSs are not at their core about aiming and shooting. They are about being in a first-person perspective and being a shooter game. Hence the name, first-person shooter. Also, you stated that Doom was basically the original FPS game. The original Doom didn't have aiming either. There are no sights. There are no zoom-ins. And if you want to argue that you're talking about aiming as in just aiming in general by looking and moving a gun towards an enemy, well, guess what? Doom the Dark Ages has that just as much as the original Doom did.
But you really don't have to be good at that to succeed in Doom the Dark Ages.
No comment. This is just an opinion. Maybe try playing a harder difficulty, I don't know.
The obvious one is that green projectiles and attacks can be parried using the shield by hitting the left trigger.
It's a very specific nitpick, but what mouse are you using where you're clicking the left trigger to throw your shield? What are you using to shoot your gun? The E button? I mean, obviously this was a mistake, like, in wording from him, but like, you know, just better than that.
Frisbeeing the shield by pressing left bumper.
Still kind of a nitpick, but he said left again? What?
Getting this stuff right is essential to successfully making it through Doom the Dark Ages combat encounters. What isn't essential is the usual first-person shooter stuff like precision aiming, headshots, and even timing reloads.
Again, the game you consider the original FPS, the original Doom game, also didn't have any form of precision aiming, headshots, or reload timing. I mean, it may have had a little bit of reload timing, but still, it was very minimal. Especially when you compare those certain criteria of an FPS game to the rebooted games of Doom, which have significantly increased amounts of these. Yet these aren't considered FPSs, but the original Doom was. Alright, I think we're gonna end this review there. I mean, I'm already like 4 hours into editing and I'm only halfway through the video, so who knows, maybe I'll make a part 2 if this gets enough support. But once again, thanks for all the recent support. Do not harass this guy, even if this may be a bad review. He's allowed to have his own opinion, flawed or not. And with that being said, like, subscribe, share, and everything else that YouTubers say to increase their growth. Thanks for watching to the end if you're here. I still suck at video editing.